Hello.
Oh my god.
Oops.
There we go.
Yeah. Heyo.
Welcome back
To Expats in Progress.
Expats in Progress.
Jingle in progress, too.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's a lot better. We have AirPods in, and they were on, what's it called?
Noise cancel?
Yeah.
I was wondering what was going
wondering
on.
why, like, everything felt so weird in one ear.
It's like everything's muted.
But yeah, today we are watching Amanda Ray's video on why she loves living in the UK.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Exciting stuff.
let's get started, shall
Let's
we?
go.
Oops.
There we go.
Ah.
Okay, there we go.
If you're new here, I'm an American living in the UK, and in just a few short weeks, I will have officially lived here for 10 years.
Wow.
Cool.
I honestly can't believe how fast time flies.
Yeah.
It feels like just yesterday I packed my bags in good old Pennsylvania.
Oh my god, she's from Pennsylvania?
Also from the East Coast, technically, though we now live in
I'm not.
the central of the country.
Yeah.
The Midwest, some
Yeah.
would say.
And made the massive jump from the US. My life has changed in so many ways, which leaves me feeling incredibly fortunate to experience two countries, as I think they're both wonderful in their own right. Of course, I know, nowhere is perfect, but I thought this would be an excellent time to share some of my absolute favorite things about living in England. But I'm curious, if you could only choose one thing that you absolutely love about living in the UK, what would it be? Let me know in the comments. Oh, and it's worth mentioning that these are not in any particular order. Number 1.
I knew healthcare was going to be on there because, like,
Healthcare
Duh.
in the U.S. is garbage.
beyond garbage.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Healthcare. I'm sure everyone knows that this one would be on my list, as yes, I have mentioned them here and there a few times. But it's no secret that the US healthcare system is terrible. So much so that people go uninsured as they simply just cannot afford proper health insurance. I mean, imagine having to choose between paying your bills or getting the meds that you needed that month. It's not a nice situation to be in, and I'm speaking from experience. Now, I know there isn't a perfect system, as many people I'm sure have their issues with NHS. But I honestly cannot say enough good things about it. If you need medical care, it's there.
Yeah, people in the UK, there's a lot of people that are like, oh my god, the NHS is horrible. Oh my god, we're horrible. This is a horrible country to live in, blah, blah, blah. You should live in the States. Because
This is awful with that stuff. I think the only thing right now that the NHS actually has that's like a little bit of an issue is ambulance wait times.
Yeah, but that's because of strikes and stuff.
That's not a normal thing. That's a
No.
weird situation.
And even then, they're still going to go there and you still don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how affordable things actually are when the entire healthcare system isn't built for profit.
Yeah.
It's almost like the government investing in healthcare makes them care more about it.
Yep.
Who knew?
And you do not have to worry about thousands of pounds in medical bills after the fact. And having that peace of mind, especially since having my girls, is enough to put me off moving back to the US entirely. Number 2, social lives. Now, of course, I had a social life in the States, and yes, there are lots of bars and restaurants that you can go to. But there's just something about the social culture in the UK that is just wonderful. Like, I love walking past the old pubs with their hanging baskets filled with beautiful colored flowers and the smell of beer in the air, and then being faced with the locals laughing and joking with each other as you open the door. And I know that may sound a bit silly to a lot of you, but there's something so welcoming with a good pub, and it has always put a smile on my face. Especially in the summer. Nothing quite beats a warm day and a cold beer. I'm not a huge fan of modern style bars, as I'm far too tired dealing with my children to go clubbing. But I absolutely love the fact that I can have a drink or a spot of lunch in a pub that's older than my entire country. Crazy, right? Number 3, humor. It took me a little while to fully grasp, as it's very different to American humor, which is very loud and in your face. Face? Face. So much so that most of it went completely over my head at first. British humor is full of sarcasm, wit, insults, and innuendos, and after some time, I've
It's so good.
That's literally where all of my humor is, and I've always been that way. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I just really like that style of humor in general.
learned to love it. And I feel like it's usually about everyday life, which is relatable, and what cracks me up the most. So whether it's watching stand-up comics or your favorite show on TV, I really do feel that British humor is an art form in itself. Before we continue, I'd like to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Number 4, scenery. One of the first things I notice is how green everything is. And now I know it's because of how much rain we get here, but nonetheless, I think it's beautiful. There's nothing quite like the English countryside. The green grass sets off the purples and yellow flowers that are seemingly everywhere. Not to mention all the gorgeous parks and the hiking trails that are scattered throughout the country. Now, the Lake District is probably one of my favorite places that I visit in England, especially Windermere, which, if I had my way, I'd definitely relocate there in a heartbeat. It was stunning and the people were so lovely. Unfortunately, due to COVID, my travels around the UK have come to a crashing halt, but I'd love to see more. So, what are some places that you'd recommend? The criteria is nice food, fun for the kids, and somewhere that I can take hundreds of pictures of. I'm easily pleased. Number 5, food. Easy one. The food here is unreal. I'm not sure where the reputation of being boring came from, but in my experience,
Yeah. International travel from the US is ridiculously expensive. Whereas like from the UK going like to like Europe, it's like 30 pounds.
Yeah, part of it is needing to fly across the Atlantic Ocean, which, like, understandable. But then a part of it just feels like, in general, like, costs of flights out of the US are super raked up for whatever reason.
Yeah, no idea.
Also, like, passing through customs and everything like that, back into the US even, is just incredibly complicated.
Yep.
it couldn't be further from the truth. Oh yeah, and there's about 1 million restaurants, bars, and cafes in every town and city here, so there's something for everyone. Number 6, travel. Since moving here, I traveled more than I ever have, and that's down to 2 things. 1, I actually have the time off to do it, and 2, travel is much more accessible here. I have mentioned it in another video, but many Americans never leave the US. Some never even leaving their state. It's something crazy, like 42% of people have a valid passport, but that's mainly because international travel is so costly, and the average working person simply can't justify the cost, or possibly having to take unpaid leave just for a holiday. Whereas here, you can jump on a plane to Rome, Budapest, or Venice for a weekend getaway that won't cost you an arm and a leg. And now that things are finally, slowly getting back to normal since COVID, I'm looking forward to being able to travel again, because there's so many places that I love to visit. Number 7, David Attenborough. Yeah, that's right. He made it on the list of things that I love about the UK. It's my list, and I'll add whatever I like to it. All jokes aside, I love how wonderfully made his shows are, and many others like him are here. He seems so genuine in his approach, which makes curling up in front of the TV and learning about penguins and tree frogs really entertaining. Number 8, accents. There are so many different accents, some I understand, and others not so much. But what I find fascinating is how quickly they can change from one town to another, sometimes street to street. And as an American who grew up in rural Pennsylvania, I never experienced tons of different accents. Everyone sounded pretty much the same, which is probably why I enjoy them so much.
So,
But yeah,
like,
that's a good place to end it.
yeah, people in the UK, so much better than here.
So much
honestly.
friendlier. Even like when we were in London and everything, like everyone was so friendly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for future videos and updates. And yeah, see y'all in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.